let's do a little look ahead. Hey pals, how's it going? I hope you are doing well. And if you're new here, this is the place where we talk about books. Today, before I get started, I just wanted to say hello to all of the new subscribers there are out there. There have just been so many new folks finding my channel in the last couple of weeks, and I am so thrilled to have each and every one of you. You, and you. I am just so thrilled and so stoked to have you all here hanging out with me, chatting about books. I really appreciate each and every one of you pals. So today I thought it would be fun to do a little bit of a look ahead to books that are coming out soon that sound good. So I have done a bit of research and I have found some books that are coming out in the second half of September and then also the month of October for a bit of a fall anticipated release look ahead. So I have all of the release dates that the internet told me, but take each of those dates with a grain of salt because the pandemic just seems to be pushing release dates here, there, everywhere. But I know that at some point each of these books will come out, may already possibly be out in other parts of the world, but generally these are just some new books that I thought sounded good and I thought I would share them with you. Let's talk about some anticipated books. First up, we've got Horrid by Katrina Leno. This is a YA horror mystery that is set to release on September 15th. By the time this video comes out, it'll probably be after September 15th, so this is just Alicia from the past, by the way. So some of these books might already be out. Alicia from the past. And this is described as Stephen King meets Agatha Christie with a really cool cover. So I'm interested in that. This is about a mother and daughter. The husband/father has just passed away, so they have decided to move to a new house, a new town for a fresh start, and they move into a dilapidated old house in Maine, which I believe is where the mother grew up, and they're kind of trying to rekindle some old heritage and some new fresh start together as a mother-daughter duo. But then because this is a YA horror mystery, I am imagining that some haunted house shit, some spooky house shit happens. I've also heard that this novel deals a lot with grief, mental illness, anger, all of those kind of emotions around death, especially a close death in the family, and I'm interested. I'm interested in that one. Next up, also a September 15th release, we've got It Came from the Multiplex, 80s Midnight Chillers. This is a horror anthology all kind of around the campiness of 80s horror movies. Imagining a lot of creature feature stories, lots of nostalgia, lots of camp. That cover's really got me interested in it. I know there is a story by Stephen Graham Jones in there, so I am definitely here for that. And a lot of other horror authors. It's a horror anthology, and I love short stories. I love horror. I love monsters. I love camp. The dust jacket for this one also makes it sound super cool. It says, "Behold, as a swarm of werewolves, serial killers, Satanists, elder gods, aliens, ghosts, and unclassified monsters are loosed upon your auditorium. Relax and allow our ushers to help you with your buckets of popcorn and blood, your ticket stubs and severed limbs, your cotton candy, your comfort candy, and body bags. Kick back and scream as you settle into a fate worse than hell." A fate worse than hell! Primo, yes please. Another September 15th release, we've got The Cipher by Kathy Koja. I'm really excited for this, as I imagine so is everybody else who also follows Alex at Hey Little Thrifter. This is one of her favorite horror books, and every time she talks about it, it just makes me want to read it. And this is a book that was from the 80s, I believe, and it has been out of print for a really long time, and they are now re-releasing it, and the re-release will be coming out September 15th. So the Cipher is about a couple that finds a mysterious hole in a storage room, and then they just keep wanting to put things in this hole, because I guess when they put things in and take them back out, they become changed, something happens, and I guess they kind of become obsessed with putting things into this hole. And I have heard that this is both a psychological horror, but then also like a very gruesome body horror, which I love both of those things. And I really, truly, truly can't wait to read this one. Next up, we've got The Loop by Jeremy Robert Johnson. This comes out on September 29th, and this is a thriller sci-fi horror. The Loop is promised as Stranger Things meets World War Z, which sounds super dope. And it is about a woman who has to team up with a group of outcasts. I'm imagining like your horror movie team of random people with random skills. They have to team up to survive the night, survive the week, just generally survive in this town that has just been raised by a science experiment gone wrong. So I don't know if this is zombies, I don't know if this is something else, but it's your group of misfits that gotta survive when something horrible has happened. I love that trope. I just love the teaming together using your diverse skills, and I'm expecting this to be thrilling. I'm expecting this to be a little bit edgy, maybe a little bit scary, maybe a little bit gruesome. Who knows? It just sounds like a thrill ride that I want to punch my ticket for. Ding ding. Next up, we've got Bestiary by K-Ming Chang. This also comes out September 29th, and this is a queer fiction magical realism story. This is a debut novel that follows 3 generations of Taiwanese American women, and it kind of goes into the legacy of their emigration from Taiwan to America, their stories of childhood, coming of age. This is also a queer story, so I'm imagining some hidden queerness in there. I'm kind of getting the Joy Luck Club vibes from this, and this just promises to be an incredible debut that I would love to check out. Next up, I'm really excited about this one. This is Local Haunts, a horror tube anthology. This comes out on October 1st, and this is a collection of 19 horror short stories from our very own horror tube community. This was all stories from the YouTube, Booktube, HorrorTube community going into one horror anthology that is all about, you know, like the kind of local myth and local lore in each of those Booktubers' hometowns. So lots of hometown horror stories. So there's lots of new to me authors out there. I think the only author who has a short story in this that I have read before is Cameron Chaney. I read one of his stories in Other Voices, Other Tombs, and I absolutely loved that collection, and I really liked his story in that. Also, Jason White is one of my favorite booktubers, so really excited to read his, as well as Marie McWilliams. I love her channel as well. So I feel like this is just a way to support the HorrorTube community and also read a whole bunch of new horror short stories by possibly smaller authors. Maybe some debuts out there. Who the heck knows? Certainly not me, but I definitely will be checking this out, and I can't wait to read it. Next up, we've got We Hear Voices by Evie Green. This is supposed to come out on October 6th, but I've heard a few different dates for this one, so take this one with a grain of salt. So this is a debut horror, and it is about a little boy who gets this illness. It's a very severe flu that generally kills the people who get it. Like, the survival rate of this flu is very, very low. But except this little boy survives the flu, which is wonderful. But when he does, he inherits an imaginary friend as he survives this illness. And not only does he inherit an imaginary friend, but it's evil and it tells him to do bad things. So here we got our creepy kid story. Gotta have a creepy child story into the mix. So really excited to see where this one goes and how they kind of weave the it's kind of got like a built-in explanation into the plot, I guess, as to where this creepy imaginary friend came from. But, like, you know, is it a ghost? Is it a demon? Is it a virus? What is it? I gotta read it to find out! Next up, we've got Earthlings by Sayaka Murata. This is supposed to come out on October 6th. This is a contemporary fiction magical realism story. I read Convenience Store Woman by Sayaka Murata last year, and it was one of my absolute favorite books of last year. It was like a short novel that absolutely blew me away. I was thinking about it for the rest of the year. I've made so many people read it after having read it. I am thrilled to read her second novel. So Earthlings is about a young girl named Natsuki who thinks that she is either an alien or a witch. She just does not believe that she is a normal human girl. And I believe this is kind of set in the mountainous woods of Japan, where she's running around with her friends thinking that they're aliens, or she thinks that she's aliens, and then I believe something happens to her or her and her friends. So I'm kind of imagining that childhood innocence and imagination mixed with real world trauma with something big possibly happening, and how much of what this child believes is real. Maybe she is an alien, maybe she is a witch, or maybe this is some sort of way to cope with something really shit that is happening to her in her real life. So Sayaka Murata really knows how to spin a plot that's just gonna really make you think. So I'm here to do that. I'm willing to think for Sayaka Murata. Her only. Next up, we've got The Holo Places by T. Kingfisher. This is a horror that also comes out on October 6th, and this is her second novel. I read The Twisted Ones last year, and I will admit that I absolutely loved the atmosphere that T. Kingfisher built in The Twisted Ones. I thought her scene setting, her ambiance, the like atmosphere of that story was incredible. I was so invested in the sense of place in that novel, but then like the direction that it went really I really didn't like. So it was very much like a three-ish star for me. Like, I love the setting, love the development, actual plot. So I'm willing to give her the benefit of the doubt for this second novel. The Holo Places is about a woman who is staying in her uncle's house, and then when she is in his bunker for some reason, she discovers a hole that has like cryptic messages in it, and she becomes obsessed with kind of figuring out what these messages means. And then I believe there's something to do with portals that go to other dimensions. I don't know if this is other realities. I don't know if this is good. Probably not. It's a horror. So I'm just imagining, you know, obsession about portals that goes wrong. And possibly, you know, there's gonna be maybe monsters. Maybe some dark entities that are living in these alternate dimensions, portals, realities that she travels through. Who knows? Who knows? We gotta read to find out! Ooh. Next up, we've got Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse. This is a sci-fi fantasy that comes out on October 13th. I read Trail of Lightning and Storm of Locusts last year, and those were some of the most incredible fantasy dystopian stories I had ever read. They were so entertaining, hard not to read them in one sitting. So this is a new book. It is the first book in a new series. And Black Sun is what I'm imagining is an epic space opera that is about spaceships and other planets. And I believe it is set on a spaceship that is headed towards a planet called Tova. And then there is a solar eclipse that is happening meantime. And I believe that that's, you know, something that's kind of has some lore and history, legacy around it, and something might happen during this eclipse. I'm really hoping on, you know, new interesting characters. She is excellent at creating these characters, and Trail of Lightning had a lot of Navajo mythology weaved into the story, so I'm kind of hoping for the same from Black Sun. I'm expecting some excellent world building, storytelling, character development, and just a really exciting adventure from this new series. Next up, we've got Ring Shout by P.J. Clark. This is a fantasy horror that comes out on October 13th. I believe the release date for this one has been pushed back a couple of times, so I'm not really sure if this is an accurate date. I read The Black God's Drums by P.J. Clark a couple months ago and absolutely loved it. His kind of imagination of mixing fantasy and reality and alternative history and Afrofuturism is just incredible. And Ring Shout is meant to be a dark fantasy that brings a supernatural twist to the very real history and legacy of the Ku Klux Klan. So he's kind of positioned it as where the founder of the Ku Klux Klan is like an evil dark wizard who brought this like dark sorcery and dark magic onto the world. And then meanwhile, there is a woman named Maurice Bordeaux who is, I believe, some sort of witch who is also a whiskey bootlegger in Prohibition, Georgia, and she is, you know, a witch or a fighter or some badass woman who is here to destroy the KKK. So I absolutely am here for that. I absolutely think that sounds incredible and I can't wait to read it. Next up, we've got On Sundays, She Picked Flowers. This is by Yaya Schofield and comes out on October 18th. This is a Southern Gothic queer horror. And this is about a woman who kind of escapes from her life, escapes from the clutches of her family, and moves to a small, remote, you know, rural countryside town in Georgia to start a new life. And then I believe here she meets a new woman who changes and transforms her life forever. So I'm kind of getting a little bit of like romance, like self-discovery vibes, but it's also a Southern Gothic queer horror. So don't really know what to expect from this one, but it sounds excellent. And I just love the atmosphere and ambiance of a Southern Gothic. So sign me up for this one. And finally, the last book I've got on here that I'm super stoked to be coming out in either September or October is Memorial by Brian Washington. This comes out on October 27th, and this is a queer fiction, literary fiction story. This is a dramedy about two men that are in a relationship. They have been together for a while. Their relationship is, I guess it's just kind of fine. It's not good, it's not great, it's not bad, it is fine. And then some sort of event happens that changes the way that their relationship works. It kind of it changes the trajectory of where their relationship goes. Yes, so Memorial is a funny and profound story about family in all its strange forms, joyful and hard-won vulnerability, becoming who you're supposed to be, and the limits of love. A profound dramedy about a relationship. I just love, you know, nice little conversations about humanity, love, relationships, every now and then. And I'm really curious to read Brian Washington. I've heard his short story collection Lot is incredible. I haven't checked that one out yet. So maybe I'll start here. We'll see. I'm really excited to check this one out too. There you have it, pals. There's a couple of books that I looked up that look great and that I want to read. I hope to get them soon and add them to my ever-growing pile of books that I want to read. Let me know if you've heard of any of these, and if you also want to check them out. Let me know if there's any books that you know that are coming out in the next couple of months that you think sound great. There are so many books coming out or that have just come out recently. I feel like there was a lot of like pushing things forward during the pandemic, and now they're all just kind of like coming out all at once, which is overwhelming and exciting. So thanks again for being here, pals. I love just talking books with you all. So until next time, I'll see you, pals.